Listen, let's be clear.
Are y'all listening? Are you listening? Are you listening?
We're going to clear this thing up for folks. Get it together.
Y'all paying attention? You better be listening.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent.
Made it through half of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Okay.
Do you have a morning routine?
I do. I didn't for a lot of years, but I do have one now. I think over the last maybe 5 years, I started to develop and refine it. But
So,
yes.
so did you know that they're saying that the most successful people have different routines? And one routine in particular is the morning routine.
I could believe it. I noticed over the years, and when I started, I noticed that I felt more productive. I felt like my days were more organized. So I could believe it.
Okay. I have a routine as well. So I
hmm
am the type of person I have to have a routine because like when I travel or something like that, I always forget something or I always miss a step, which throws my whole day completely off. I'm
hmm
a routine oriented person. So
hmm
routines come naturally to me because if you go in my restroom, everything is where it is because I can do touch things in my restroom with my eyes closed and the lights off. But I guess that it makes sense though.
What is your morning routine?
So, okay, I try to get up at the same time every morning because consistency is the key. How to
hmm
train your body to do what you want it to do. And then I attempt to make my bed. So, the caveat to this is if I feel the urge, I make my bed. Typically, that's what I do because this established routine from the beginning of the day. So, you have something that you have accomplished at the beginning of the day. And a lot of people feel like if your bed is messy, your life is messy. But
hmm
I mean, I went
hmm
many years without making my bed, but it is what it is.
I did too. Now I grew up. My parents didn't play. You get up, you make your bed, change the sheets once a week. Like that. That was kind of a thing for us. I know some people that change their sheets daily, every other day, once every other week. It just depends, right? Um,
Right.
but what have you. But growing up, that was kind of our routine. And then when I went to college, honey, that went all the way out of the window.
Because you didn't have enough hours in the day.
No.
You
Um,
never had enough time to do anything. That's why I say making my bed out of my whole routine. Making my bed, I think, is probably the most inconsistent.
but for me now, it is a non
Mhm.
negotiable. I make my bed every day. I change my sheets religiously. Fluff pillows. I actually change out
So,
my pillows. But sleep is important to me, and quality sleep is important. And so, making my bed, like, I don't like getting into a warm bed at night. So, I feel like when my bed is made, it's a little bit cooler.
okay. Because I was about to ask what was the drive for making your bed every morning.
It's a couple of things. I think one, it goes back to what you said about feeling like I've accomplished something already that day. It's that positive momentum. So things are going good. I'm getting things done, and I'm building on that throughout the day. And then the other piece of that is when I come home at night, I'm coming home to a room that's not cluttered, to a bed that's not cluttered. So that's another piece for me that's really big. I don't like a lot of clutter.
Okay.
But coming into a room in the evening with to a bed that's made, and I feel like, okay, it's fresh, it's new, that helps me relax and decompress for the day. But that means I had to start my day by making that bed.
Right. And see, I have a routine, but it doesn't mean I don't struggle because I am not a morning person.
So I'm not a morning person either. And I've tried to work on that. I am just not a morning person. I get my stride around 11 a.m., maybe noon or 1, but I'm not a morning person. People who can get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, go jogging, make breakfast, fold a load of clothes. That is not me. Catch
Well,
me at midnight though.
so when you said jogging, that's a good point because My next part of my routine is typically exercise, which I have not done the best by that either. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
transparent. However, typically I get up and I go work out, whether it's lift weights or get on the elliptical, something for at least 30 to 45 minutes per day. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
incorporate that in my morning routine. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I struggle with. When I wake up, I want to check email
Mm.
because in my job, you got to be on top of everything. And
Right.
when you miss an email or your email sat there just a little bit too long without a response, then it could
People start
end.
to get anxious.
Correct. And they don't care if it's 4 a.m., if it was 1 a.m. in the morning. It's like, okay, but at what point do you expect me to sleep?
Right.
And then rushing in the morning, it throws
I
me
try to
off. And I
yeah.
try not to do that, but I'm going to tell you what causes me to rush checking the email.
Mm.
Because I could sit there for 10 to 15 minutes just going through emails. And I'm thinking, I can't believe this. And you keep getting deeper and deeper into situations. And before you
Right.
know it, 15 minutes in, and then you have to rush to make it to that first meeting.
Right. For me, it when I didn't have a solid routine, I would rush a lot of times because I was hitting the snooze button, and I really had to
Mm.
stop doing that. When that alarm went off or when it goes off now, that's it. I have to get up. I have to get up and be ready to go.
Right. And I'm telling you, snooze is my best friend. That is probably why parts of my routine don't get done because I may get up at the same time, but I sit on the side of the bed for a little while.
Hmm.
Then I walk in, I try to make some coffee,
Hmm.
and I turn the TV on. What's on the news? What they lying about now? And then you go in the mirror, you put your contacts in so you can finally see.
Hmm.
And then by the time I get through that and taking my time and not rushing, then time does get away from you, especially when you don't rush. You take your time and then you add emailing to it. And then the social media aspect, they're saying now that you really shouldn't do it, look at it first thing in the morning.
No.
Wait until lunchtime.
Right. And one, you need to give your eyes time to adjust to the morning. And looking at a screen first thing in the morning is not good for your eyes.
Right.
It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for any of that. But one of the things that I found that has been the most helpful is starting the night before for the next morning. So I lay out my clothes. Well, actually do my clothes for the week. And if it changes, that's okay too. But I do try to prepare that in advance, iron, all of that, jewelry, have it laid out and everything. And then if I always fill the coffee maker with water the night before, because nothing is worse than trying to find water for the coffee maker, and I barely made it downstairs to get the coffee. And then I try to have my journal next to my bed because I wake up and a lot of times I will write. I'll write, I'll read a scripture, or I'll write what I'm grateful for that morning or what I had thought about, what I'm hoping happens, my intentions for the day. And then at night, I actually write out my to do list for the next day. And so I'm really particular about that. What I find is when I don't do that, I feel off. I feel like my day is off because that's how tied wed I guess I am to this routine. When I travel, I have a separate morning routine, but it always involves me preparing the night before. So if it's packing my work bag, making sure the laptop is charged up, making sure I have pens that actually work, all these different things. When I travel, I try to make sure that these things are done, set. I have my backup charger, all of my cords, all of that. I'm ready to go because, and I travel all over the world and you know, I told you about the time my bags got lost in Taiwan. These
Well,
and
so
it's
okay.
hard finding that stuff. So you have to kind of be prepared as much as you can at all times. And so I'm preparing the night before, working that morning, and thinking about as that day is ending what that next day looks like.
So that sounds great for the organized OCD person. And I'm going to raise my hand and testify that that is not me. So, I, the advice I could give the opposite side of the street is,
Hey, y'all.
yeah, because I wouldn't recommend going so far as to make sure I had enough pens that write. Because I'm
Oh,
struggling just to make sure I got the right pants laid out for tomorrow. So I would say baby steps. We got to crawl before we run a marathon because you at marathon status and I ain't there. I would say basic things like waking up on time, number one, at the same time every day. And it
Mm-hmm.
goes for not just during the week, Monday through Friday, but it also goes for Saturday and Sunday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more regular your circadian clock is, the healthier you are.
Right. And start with 30 minutes and then work your way to an hour. But if you wake up 30 minutes before your normal time, that gives you just a little bit of buffer so that you don't feel rushed.
Right. And and even if making your bed is not your first goal of the day, even if it's, let's say, washing dishes from the night before,
Mm-hmm.
or putting one load of clothes in the laundry a day, make it
Mm-hmm.
something, a routine, make it a basic routine, something what gives you a feeling of accomplishment that but doesn't take all of your energy for the day,
Right.
because you still got your exercise routine to come next, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do that too, because that putting the energy in up front will give you energy in the back end.
Right.
Exercise is a big deal. I try to do it on a regular basis. Now, I'm gonna be honest. That snooze interferes with that. So the exercise piece though isn't very very important,
Mm-hmm.
along with diet.
So
Um,
what is your what how do you feel about breakfast?
okay, so my preference is a Cracker Barrel breakfast
Mm-hmm.
with pancakes, waffles, egg,
Mm-hmm.
French muffin or English muffin, whatever muffin it is.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of meats, eggs, grits, hash brown casserole, and a couple juices.
Mm-hmm.
However, we all know they ain't heart healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't finna do that because by the end of that, I'll be exhausted and get back in the bed.
Exhausted.
Right.
Completely exhausted.
So I typically try to do something that's going to start my day off with nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
So like fruit smoothie
Mm-hmm.
or some kind of bran flakes, some sort of almond or soy, coconut milk, something like that. Something that's not too
Mm-hmm.
terribly heavy will give me the boost I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to add caffeine to mine. I know that some people don't think caffeine is a good thing. I get it. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. However, myself, my counterparts, and my employees would appreciate me to have my caffeine.
I know that's right.
It becomes a safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to do my caffeine. But that's it for breakfast. Typically, lunch is around 11-ish, and it varies from day to day depending on what the cafeteria has, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
What is your morning routine?
I get up as early as 4:35. I wake up, like I said, I write in my journal. I express my intentions for the day. I review my list of things that I need to get done. I try to always put household stuff and professional stuff on there. I wake my son up, I get him dressed and all of that stuff. And then breakfast is dicey for me. Breakfast is really dicey. There's some days I have a really good breakfast where I'm eating scrambled eggs and maybe having pancakes. And then there are other times where if I can grab a handful of grapes, I'm doing good. And then I kind of go in. So I'm working from home now. So I kind of go into work mode. I have my office set up. So it's separate from my house. So I don't feel like I'm waking up and immediately going to work. And then I actually do a midday workout. So I don't do a morning workout. And that's probably because I'm running up and down the stairs trying to get things situated. But the most important part of my morning routine for me is that quiet time. That is perhaps the most valuable and important part of my day because I usually write during that time. I reflect every now and again. I might, if I wake up early enough, I might turn on a sitcom, watch me an episode of Girlfriends or an episode of The Parkers or 227, which is a personal favorite. But by and large, it's my time. It is my time to do something that I want to do uninterrupted. And so that part is really important to me. So I always try to make it something meaningful. It could be a facial, it could be anything, but I try to make it something meaningful to me that day based off of how I'm feeling. If I woke up, maybe didn't get, it was kind of restless sleep, then I take that time to relax a little.
So when you say
So
valuable, you don't mean the extra 15, 20 minutes of sleep. Okay.
no, I don't hit the snooze button.
I do. I don't mean you lying because
No, because there have been many days where I've hit the snooze button and I went all the way back to sleep, slept through the second, third, and fourth alarm.
see that's the
And
difference
so
with
I
me.
can't.
I can basically tell myself, okay, you need to wake up at in 30 minutes and I'll get me a good REM sleep. I mean, I'll have a dream and everything, and then in 30-minute mark, I'll wake up. But I think that's me training myself and having been on call for so many years that you have to sleep light. So, and there goes to another point. If you're a light sleeper, then you have to find some way to get in quality sleep because light sleepers don't usually get that quality sleep. So you never get that real REM sleep and you never get truly fully rested. So
Right.
exercise leads to REM sleep. A good diet leads to REM sleep. These are things that you can incorporate in your routine to ensure that these happen in the beginning, but all this result in the end, if that makes sense. All right, Adrian, I think, you know what? I think that we did future words to folks today.
All right.
Good conversation.
And we want to hear how you're thriving.
Right.
So let us know. Let us know. What's your definition for success? What does it take for you to thrive? What has been your experience? We want to hear that from you. So share it with us so that we can learn from your experiences and other people, some of our other listeners and thrivers can learn as well.
Right. And look us up on Instagram, Facebook, and send us emails. Because we do want to hear your success stories. And, we also want to hear those things that you may be struggling with because, we may be young, but we went through a whole lot of trials and tribulations that we can tell you how to overcome some of these humps. I'm just telling you.